Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a really special trailer to show you sitting here behind me. This is actually going to be one of our display trailers at the 2025 National Western Stock Show coming up here soon. This is a 2025 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse living quarters. This guy is loaded up. We're really excited. We want you to come by the booth, see all the cool trailers we have, and especially walk through this guy right here. I'm going to go into a lot of details and a lot of options on this trailer that we're going to look at. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I want to show you some specs on this guy. So this guy here is going to have a 1510 short wall with the slide out. This is a triple axle air ride trailer. It is 36 foot, 3 inches on the floor. It is 8 foot wide. It is 7'10" tall with the integrated pod. We're really excited to show you this trailer. The rear tack on it is fantastic. We love the setup. I know it's a crowd favorite around here. The way it's just set up and the functionality of it itself, we're really excited to show you that. On the living quarters side, we'll go ahead and take a look at the drawing there. So we're looking again at a 1510 short wall with a slide out. It's got a lot of really cool features on it. This thing has Starlink. It has a Redarc Charger. It has recliners. You know, it's been a great relationship between Transwest, Cimarron, and also Outlaw Conversions. We're the longest tenured Outlaw dealer out there. So really good working relationship between all three of us. When you're looking at a Ciamrron with an Outlaw conversion, you're actually the only trailer manufacturer out there that's covered for 3 years. So think about that for a second. On the trailer side, 8-year structure, 3-year hardware, 1 year no questions asked warranty under tires. I'll talk more about that. But if you have an Outlaw conversion and you have a manufacturer warranty of 1 year on your microwave, 1 year on your refrigerator, whatever it is, if Outlaw puts it on, they cover it for 3 years. So think about that as far as just warranty and standing behind the product. These two companies really do that, and we're really proud to work with both of them. So let's dive into this trailer. It's got a lot, so buckle up. All right, first and foremost, we'll just kind of start right here at the nose of this trailer. We'll start at the top rail there. You're gonna notice the 3 marker lights. That became standard on the 25 models. We were doing it a lot on these bigger trailers. These living quarters, our trainer trailers, really loaded up livestock trailers. It's now standard on them. You're gonna get the nice stainless sheeted nose on this guy. Then as we work down, let's take a look at this coupler. This is made by B&W. This is rated for 25,000 pounds. This B&W coupler, a few years ago, Cimarron and them teamed up. This is about the 3rd generation, a lot of feedback from customers, from us, from other dealers, from Cimarron, from B&W. One thing we really put a lot of emphasis on is we wanted a coupler that had a lot of adjustability. And the first 2 generations of this had a really tall, you know, latch itself that you grab a hold of. This is a lower profile, so we get 1 more hole drilled in there. This is where it comes into play on these living quarters, big trainer trailers. You might be pulling this with a hauler, maybe even potentially a semi, something along those lines. You want the flexibility to run this coupler up a little bit more into that stem, and you have that with this B&W. And not to mention, do you have a really strong trailer manufacturer, Outlaw Conversions from that side of it, but B&W as well, really well known and respected in the industry. Okay, underneath the gooseneck, this is a really nice trailer. I love these enclosed front ends because in my opinion, I think it just finishes off this trailer really nice, gives it a really good look to it, but it also has functionality as well. If you look behind here, when we have that guy down, it's gonna protect everything back here. So we've got dual jacks, electric over hydraulic by equalizer, does have the manual override. So if you had to get this on or off a truck in emergency situations, you could pump it on or off. The thing that I love about the dual jacks and also dual controls, dual switches, is if I'm not perfectly square underneath the truck, I can actually tip this trailer, you know, over just a little bit and drop it onto the ball. It also gives you the flexibility of, one, with the jacks leveling it front and back, you know, nose to tail, I can do it side to side on this guy. This trailer is actually tipped towards the passenger side, so I ran that jack leg out just a little bit more. Spare tire. Over to the left, this trailer is equipped with electric over hydraulic disc brakes, so there's our our pump right up there for that. You're gonna get your aluminum battery box. This guy is gonna actually have 2 house batteries, also an air ride battery. This trailer is equipped with air ride suspension. We'll talk about that here in a minute. You're gonna notice this Redarc Charger. These guys are awesome. We started messing around with these, doing some testing ourselves. It became standard kind of about halfway, I wouldn't say halfway through the 25 models, because we're somewhat in that ballpark right now, but about a month or 2 after, they started making that standard if it had this hydraulic jack system with a battery. That is a true 3-staging charger. I like to say it's a supercharger for our batteries from the truck, where the truck would usually work as just kind of a trickle charge. So this guy here is going to keep these batteries nice and charged up, give them a lot more life and longevity to them. It's also going to tell us if we have power coming from the truck. Just kind of troubleshooting issues that might you know, arise if you're changing tow vehicles, anything like that. Below that is going to be an aluminum box for 2 30-pound LP bottles back here. So a lot more capacity, obviously, than a 20-pounder on these bigger trailers. That is the only way to go. It's less changing of those actual propane bottles out. Over here is going to be our compressor for that onboard air ride system we have here. So the compressor itself is on board. You don't have to have an external air, you know, source coming into it. It's really easy to operate. On, off, lower, raise, clear your drain when you park it. That way, when air can create some condensation that has the potential to freeze and crack, causing issues, you'll want to drain that. We've done some really condensed how-to videos on how to turn it on, operating it, turning it off. I'm going to circle back around to air ride when we get back to the axles. Underneath here, we actually put a 16-inch awning light as well. Look, our cargo light on our truck is going to be typically somewhat blocked. Let's give us some light coverage down here. Maybe your truck's not even parked here, but I got to pull those bottles off, do something. I've got this light right here that I can turn on and off. Okay, so this guy here is going to be the white sheeting. You're going to notice the frameless windows that became standard on these a few years ago. I also want you to notice this extrusion. We brought this extrusion all the way forward. Normally it gets to the LQ and stops. On these trailers here, it just gives it such a good look to extend it. And then also, we did it on the actual LQ door. So depending on which style LQ door, you can do that, some you can't. This is a made at the factory Cimarron door, so we can actually put that extrusion on there. So just keep that in mind. That is something that not necessarily we can do all the time, but in this instance here we can. But again, it just gives it a good look, in my opinion. We'll just cover a couple things out here. You're gonna notice the lower courtesy lights. A lot of light coverage out here. One thing, when we were at Stock Show last year, we were in that building, we ran the awning out, and it had some light underneath there in the porch light, and we just go, man, it kind of looks dark under there. We need to actually load up on some more light. So let's make our trailers light up a little bit more. So you're gonna notice we actually did 3 8-inch awning lights out here. Up top, you're actually gonna have lights from your awning as well. So that's the Carefree, the armless, so it's the box style, so it's got LED lights underneath there as well. Great place to entertain out here. You have your exterior speakers. You also have a plug-in out here. So if you need to plug something in, hang out here, you can do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at this LQ. So you have your fold-up step going in, so it makes it really easy getting in and out of this trailer. I do have this trailer aired up at the moment, so it is a little bit larger step than what it would normally be when we dump the air ride if the trailer's sitting there. But let's take a look at this guy. This has become such a popular option. Is, if you notice in the slide out, we've got the recliners. So again, the recliners have become so popular. We're really excited to take this one to Stock Show and show you guys these recliners themselves. You notice they've got courtesy lights underneath there. You've got the ability to charge items. You know, you've got cup holders. They change colors. You can actually just kick back and recline on this guy. You know, with the slide out, it really opens up this trailer. So you can still have somebody at the kitchen. You can sit right here, TV's in a great location, but this guy is fantastic. It's heated as well. It's got a little massaging option on it. It's fantastic. These guys here they don't run on 12 volts, so you'll have to have like the generator running or plugged into power to operate them. But what a cool setup to have those recliners in here. I know that we've got a number of customers that have ordered trailers or bought some of these off the lot, and they rave about them. So big popular option there that we can offer through Outlaw. Above there, you're going to have some overhead cabinetry to store some items. We've got just some reading lights. You know, obviously you have your valances that have the accent that matches up above the actual slide out itself. Your day-night shades. So again, you can see out from these recliners. But then you might go, okay, well, I want to sit down and eat somewhere. Well, if you look over on the drop wall, we've got the dinette. So dinette, which is fantastic. This guy will break down into a bed if you need to. So we can actually just drop that main leg down, push the tabletop down. We've got an extra pad in the closet that you'll see in a little bit, but that turns into an actual bed itself, but you got a place to sit down and eat. Big slide out drawer underneath there. That's great for, like, you know, maybe it's the sheets or bedding that you might need if somebody is actually staying right there. Overhead cabinets as well, more reading lights. We've got power underneath there, so you can, you know, charge items, plug items in, whatever you need to there. And then we'll go up into the bed area, because we really messed around with this design. We wanted kind of that headboard style look to it, but we also wanted it to function. Sometimes if you do that kind of headboard style, you don't have any functionality to it, but there's an actual cabinet below that puffed accent material up there. So it gives it that look of that, but there's storage there. But then we did shelves over to the right and left of the bed. That way you can, you know, again, you can plug a phone in, set it up there, your water bottle, just trying to keep items, you know, nice and organized and kind of out of the way and give it a little bit more functionality. There's also a switch up there to operate the generator up in the nose as well. So there's two. There's one up there, one down here in the main living space. That way, if you wake up in the morning, middle of the night, and need to fire that guy up, you can. Don't even have to get out of bed. It's also going to have a TV and storage as well up there. So you do have a TV up there. It does have a pocket door, so you can get a little bit more privacy by running that pocket door shut as well. Okay, kitchen area. Nice. There's actually quite a bit of actual counter space on this guy. Obviously, we have the cover that goes over the sink. We tried to make it a nice, big, deep sink for you. This is a great style. People really like this, like the capability that it's got the sprayer as well. The recessed 2-burner cooktop. So when you're not operating it, you can actually drop this guy, have additional counter space, and then we did the extension on the end, so that guy flips up, so you have even more countertop space there. Convection oven, convection microwave oven, so it gives you that capability. You know, try to give you as much storage as we possibly could around it. You're gonna have flat screen TV, Samsung. There's actually storage behind there as well. We really like the Samsungs. That's just me personally. I've got some in my house. These are smart TVs, and these function so well. We've been very, very happy with how they operate. So we request, if we can, to get the Samsungs. But again, these are smart TVs. So the one up in the nose, this one here, again, it's got Starlink, so we can get you set up. You know, you can stream everything. We got 2 little ones, and that's what we do a lot of streaming. So that's kind of the way it's going. A lot of the TV services out there. This does have conduit, so if we did want to add satellite for you, that part of it's done. That's usually kind of the biggest part of the labor aspect is running the wiring, but we have conduit there, so we can run it, making it a little bit easier. But again, this guy here is, you know, you got your Wi-Fi capability, you got your Starlink, these smart TVs, great setup. Maybe you know, work from home, you can work and travel as you need to on these trailers. So you got the 7.0 refrigerator freezer option, so a separate fridge and freezer option. That's almost essential when you're having these bigger trailers and you're going for long periods of time there. This isn't, you know, we run a lot of these 14, you know, a halves, 15 and a halves. And we thought, man, we just want to make this a little bit bigger. So that added, you know, space in here. We ended up putting this guy in here. So these are adjustable shelves. So you got a lot more storage here. And then also, this is one that we really like and are fans of, is the trash can. That's always like, where do you put the trash can? It's usually set out somewhere. Well, if you set it here, trying to get in the refrigerator, you got to move it. So this here actually has the cabinet there that actually houses that trash can right there for you. So it's up and out of the way. Pocket door coming into the actual bathroom here. So this guy here is going to have, you know, your wood toilet seat with the puffed, you know, leather, that accent that matches what we saw throughout the trailer. We've got some storage up here. These are adjustable shelves as well. Below it is actually going to be a clothes hamper. So you've got access here, or you can open this guy up and drop clothes in there. We will come back around to this when we get to the outside of this trailer, because I want to show you a couple really cool things there. You got your bathroom vanity. So you've got some storage back behind that mirror itself. This guy here is going to be another cabinet, you know, medicine cabinet back there. You're going to notice this guy here, because we are actually operating with an electric slide out on this one. So with the dinette, we didn't want to run, you know, 2 water tanks, 2 pumps type of a scenario. So if you notice that, that's not a lot of deep storage right there. That's because the water tank is back behind there. So our freshwater tank is actually located in this area back behind there. You're gonna have a fair amount of counter space here, you know, in front of it, behind it, and around it with the vessel sink. This turned out really well. We're really happy with this. And then I'll step out of the way a little bit. You've got a nice big closet here. We put some shelves back there for you to set some items on. 2 clothes rods back there. The automatic light that turns on. That kind of little bench area you see back there, that's actually the furnace. So that's where that guy is going to live there. So that's why that is built up the way it is. And then we've got the radius shower with the skylight on this guy. So it gives you a lot more headroom, a lot more natural lighting in this guy as well. But this is actually a very functional bathroom. It actually has a lot of room. I mean, Jody, our cameraman, can attest to it. Sometimes it's a little cramped with the 2 of us and the camera getting in there and trying to maneuver around, but you've got the capability to do that in this guy here. So I think that about covers in here. A couple things up here I'll show you. So you got hat racks up above, so you got some storage there. We also did some track lighting underneath these steps, so that's really nice just to be able to see that. You know, they always try to come up with little unique places for storage, you know, just wasted space that we can actually store some items. So you've got that there. And then over here, as we're leaving, there's the actual controls for the onboard generator as well. Again, there's another one up in the nose. Here's our awning controls. You know, it's got an LED light, retract, extend, and then our slide out operation. And then these guys here will also have the electric hot water heater. So you can turn that guy on if you are plugged into power itself and not actually use your propane. Okay, so that about covers it on the LQ side. Let's talk about these axles. So this is a triple axle air ride. Mentioned that earlier. Again, electric over hydraulic disc brakes. These are going to have 17.5-inch Alcoa wheels with an 18-ply Continental. So really good speed rating, really good tire. We've been very happy with it. Our customers have been very happy with it. And then you have the air ride system. So we'll talk about that for a minute, because every once in a while I talk to a customer who goes, that air ride, I don't want anything to do with that. Once we get talking to them a little bit, we find out that they're used to the old air ride systems, where if something went wrong, compressor, a line, a bag, that trailer was stuck. You couldn't move it till you got it fixed. This guy here is actually going to have rubber torsion axles, a shock kit, and then the air ride itself. So Dexter's come up with this air flex system that is fantastic. People have been so happy with it. Look, if we do have an issue with the air, it sets down on those rubber torsion axles and you can get to where you need to and get it fixed. It'll actually drop at about 2.5 inches. So as you see kind of the gap here between, you know, the tire and that wheel well, it will lower it. So again, it makes it easier getting in the LQ. You know, our side ramp going into the the stall area here isn't going to be as steep when you air it down, so it makes a big difference. The air ride itself, the most common thing we hear from our customers that own air ride trailers is, I will never own another trailer without air ride. They absolutely love it. I've heard everything, if I can cut an extra day off of recovery time on long distance trips, because how fresh the horses actually step off the trailer, that's less time away from home, that's less, you know, meals away, and maybe less labor taking care of stuff at home, or you on the road. So again, it is an upgrade. So there is additional money to that option when you're looking at one of these trailers. But again, you'll be very, very happy with it. We have a large investment we're putting in this stall area. We want to protect them as much as we can, especially if you're going to compete. They're going to step off this trailer fresher. I mean, we've heard of stories of people leaving coffee cups with coffee on their countertop, and they get 5 hours down the road and the coffee cup hasn't moved. We've done some video with horses on board, and there's a great video that there's a gelding in a middle stall, and you watch him when it's actually aired down, and he is unhappy. His legs are spread out, he's braced himself, ears are pinned, kicking the hip wall like crazy, just not having a good time. And then literally we flip the air ride on, do the exact same path, and it was like it was a different horse. Standing square underneath himself, ears forward, totally relaxed. So it really does make a big difference in the overall ride. And again, you'll be so happy with it. I mean, you have a triple axle, so they run and pull extremely well. Air ride on top of it. You know, triple axle will take away some of the tongue weight as well. The knock is how they turn. Stay tuned. At the tail end, we're going to talk about that because we've got something that kind of combats that. Okay, you're going to notice drop windows. So we have drop windows on tail side here, even in the escape door. So that guy will drop, and I can actually shut this rear ramp as well. So Cimarron's done a great job with making sure everything functions how it should. I mean, they've got it to where I can drop that third window right there, and I can put the hold back on that door, and they don't interfere. They don't even touch each other. So they've done a great job from an airflow standpoint. We love these drop down windows. They have bus windows within them, so you can open up half of them and get some airflow there if you need to. There's an amber turn signal there in the middle. We like putting these on these big trailers, wide trailers, because this guy here will actually work as a great big marker light for you on this big trailer, but it works as a turn signal. It indicates when you hit your brakes. It just allows people on these bigger trailers to know, like, hey, I'm trying to get over, or I'm hitting my brakes. But we love the marker light aspect as well on it. So we did two 16-inch awning lights back here. So one right above the door going in the stall area, another one right above stall number 2. There's a good look at that integrated roof line with that pod up there. We'll show you that here in a few minutes. And then I want you to look at all the lights. We knew this one was going to stock show. We wanted it to look cool, and nothing's cooler than a lot of lights on these trailers. So this guy's got a ton of them on the top rail. We actually went in and added more. You can see on this back rail here, this upright post. On the rear corner, we added lights to the side here. So again, this guy looks so cool at night when it's lit up. But then we go into the stall area. Okay, so side ramp going in here, PC load, cowboy load. I mean, there's a lot of different names for it. Everyone's got their own versions, but this has become so popular, and the reason why is that tack, which we'll show you here in a minute. But I do love the aspect of the horse safety as well. Because look, if somebody rear ends us, you know, look at that spacing just on this short wall. That's a 2.5-foot short wall we're looking at right here. So that's a lot of material that they got to get to before they can even get to your horses. So really cool there. We'll step in here. Again, this is aired up. So we always recommend when you're loading horses, unloading horses, air it down, because again, it's going to drop the box of the trailer down itself, and it's going to make this ramp not as steep when we actually come into the stall area. And then pay attention right here. Okay, look at the spacing, the gap between the wheel well and then this back divider. Well, that's a little tight. Walking a horse in, just naturally they can kind of turn their shoulders a little bit easier, but backing out makes it a little bit tricky. So on this back divider here, we made this stall a little bit wider. It's 48 inches wide with the breakover divider. Now look at that spacing. That is so cool and so user friendly for the horse to be able to back out, you know, kind of get their hip going out the door, get that shoulder across, you know, get that straight shot going out of here. So the breakover divider is a fantastic option that's been put on these guys by Cimarron. So we've got airflow dividers, padded dividers. Stall number 1 is going to have the stud divider itself. So again, if we needed additional storage, you need somebody to separate from somebody else, you've got that capability. But the airflow and then the airflow on the head grills just maximizes the airflow in this trailer itself. When we have these big drop down feed doors, jail bars, these airflows, same on the hip wall, it makes it so much cooler for the horses. Well, we can't necessarily see it from the inside here because remember, we have an integrated roof line with that integrated pod, so it actually drops this roof level a little bit in here. This guy here, the actual dimension in the stall area is 7'3". Again, we're a 7'10" tall trailer, but because of that integrated roof line, it drops it down. So you're not getting a good look at that actual insulated roof that's standard on every single Cimarron right now, but you have some additional line and insulate because of this. Now, it doesn't allow us to have the roof vents because of the way this drops, but we have all this airflow. That's why we really tried to do this, just to create as much airflow, keeping horses as comfortable and cool as possible. And that's what you get there. They do a fantastic job with all the kick mats all the way around, recessed paddle latches into the wall itself. You know, you get the heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch where those actually snap into place, so we don't have metal to metal contact when the divider's shut, creating a lot of rattle, a lot of noise for the horses. Everything has a radius. When you put your hands on a Cimarron, you touch the dividers, even the jail bars, they order in just specially that has a radius to it, so everything is nice and smooth for horses. They do such a great job on really putting emphasis on safety of the horses, safety of livestock on their trailers. I really commend them for that. Ton of lights in here. 1 light per stall, these big OptiBrite lights, that became standard this year as well. That was something we put on our trailers anytime we possibly could. Depending on availability, we wanted those OptiBrites on. Not a big power draw, put out a ton of light. You will never regret having a lot of light available on these trailers, whether it's stall, you know, in the tack, outside, this trailer's got it for sure. Now, on the floor, let's talk about it. This is basically a custom home, right? Well, what do you have to start with? You got to start with a really good foundation. And there is not a better foundation out there in the market than a Cimarron floor. It is a 12-inch deck piece that is extruded. So it's just one piece, 12 inches. Locks in high and low, tongue and groove, so 2 points of contact. If you have one, it's got the ability to flex a little bit more, but 4-inch centers with a V-truss in the middle. So that floor is the best in the industry, hands down. Wherever you have a horse standing on this floor, they're standing on support. We topped it off with, instead of rubber mats, with Werm flooring. The reason why is, 1, it really protects that floor itself, but 2, you know, it allows you to not have to pull those mats. I'm just going to be honest with you. They are not fun to pull out of any trailer, but on these loads, they're even more difficult because you have to make that corner. Getting them in and getting them set back in is not fun. I say they're like wrestling alligators, but this Werm flooring is awesome because it's permanent, it's unpenetrable. You know, we don't have to worry about urine getting down to the actual floor itself, causing corrosion issues, anything like that. So went ahead and did Werm flooring on this guy. The very last piece I'm going to show you is right up in that corner. You're going to notice we went ahead and put a camera in here. So we have a wireless camera system that we can do anything from a 2-camera system to a 4-camera system, but it is wireless. So we got a stall camera in here. It's a great position. I can see all 4 head of horses. And then I've got another camera that I'll show you. So we'll kind of circle back around to that here in a minute. But we'll just get this guy put back in place. Again, a little bit wider stall on this back one. And then you've got a butt strap that goes across there, rather than a big piece of aluminum that goes across. So, all right, we'll circle around to the back here. Let's take a look at this tack room, because this is what really, I mean, as a beautiful living quarters, this is the other part of it that really, you know, sets it apart. This is such a great tack room, and again, such a popular tack room around here. I mean, our customers love these. The staff loves them. I know one of our sales gals, she says this is it. This is the dream right here. So, rear tack, again, 2.5 foot short wall, so we have a 4 foot offset. So 6.5 foot long wall on this rear tack, so a ton of space. 50-50 rear doors. The right hand door that you're looking at will shut first. It's got that internal 2 locking mechanism, and then the left hand door will shut over that. Carpet on both. You've got bridle hooks over here on the right hand door. Over here on the left, you've got a 6-tier blanket pole rack, brush tray for smaller miscellaneous items, but carpet on everything to protect everything we're going to hang, you know, whether it's on these hooks or even on these bars themselves. And then we did 2 removable posts, so keep that in mind. Maybe you don't necessarily have to have both of these posts in there. You can take one out and give yourself a little bit more storage if you want. These saddle pads are adjustable, so I can move them up and down. Maybe I want to get rid of one of these and put 4 on there, I can, but you can change the spacing. But again, they remove. Carpet all the way around, more hooks in between them. We got some splint boot holders down here. And then if we look in this back corner here, this is actually going to be our fuel cell. So it's a great use of space back here. It's kind of wasted with that corner. So that's where our actual fuel cell is going to go. There's a shelf up here that goes across. So storage up there, it's 18 inches deep, has a 2-inch lip, so you can throw items up there. More hooks that we're looking at. And then we've actually got a water spigot right back here. So we'll show you here in a minute up at the pod, but this guy here's got a water spigot, so I can actually have some water right back here, fill up a bucket, you know, rinse off hands. You can actually get a shorter hose with a ball valve, and you can actually fill those buckets up right out there. Look, you don't actually have to tap into your fresh water tank with that spigot on the LQ side. If you're filling up buckets, you know, hydrants a long ways away, you don't want to pack those buckets, maybe travel with a dog, just fill up that, wash off your hands, whatever you need to. So that guy's located right there. Now, over to the right-hand side of this, look at all this storage. So you've got 3 shelves here. They've got a lip on them. Everything's fully carpeted. There's actually some LED lights right on the inside of this upright post. So we have light in every one of these storage sections here. And then down low, almost like a little medicine cabinet there for you. It can be locked. It's got a light right inside of it as well. Now these are on individual switches, actually on the light. So it is important for you to shut like that guy off, or these right in here. These aren't on an actual switch. They're actually right on the actual light itself. So don't forget to shut those off. Eventually they can drain the battery down. You're gonna notice a gray rubber mat down on the floor. That has been a great option and very popular. We've actually brought that over from our livestock trailers on a lot of their tack rooms. Pay attention when you're traveling. Airports, hotels, anything like that. You go to sporting events, this stuff is incorporated all over the place. Storeways, elevators, walkways. It's great because it really holds up. It's sealed at the side. It's not like a rubber mat where there's going to be seams where dirt can get to it. And it's not carpet on the floor that's going to stain, hold odor over time. I'm not a fan of carpet on the floor. This stuff is fantastic. We absolutely love that. Now, right up above is going to be another camera for us. So we got 2 cameras on this guy. We have one in the stall area and then a backup camera for you. Whether it's you need to see what's going on back here, you can have it on while you're traveling, backing up somewhere unfamiliar, you can turn that guy on, see everything you need to. This is the actual monitor itself. So this will go in your truck. It's literally just 12 volt power. So you just plug this guy in. You can operate the camera from right inside. You can set it in your cup holder if you want. The only thing you have to do in order to turn this wireless system on is we've actually tapped into the marker lights. So the marker lights have to be on to put power to the cameras to then talk to the monitor that's plugged into 12 volt like your cigarette lighter. So what's nice is it can talk to it. I mean, we've got guys that run, you know, this one here is a little over 36 foot on the floor. Some guys that run some 44 on the floor trailers, like true nose to tail 53 footers. And those cameras work fantastic on them. So what a cool setup back here in this rear tack. Last piece is you've got your fold up steps. So when you're going in there to get anything out of that tack room itself, you've got the capability to step up in there. And again, this trailer is aired up, so keep that in mind. I want to shut these rear doors because that extrusion that I was telling you about, we extended all the way. You're going to notice we did a V in the back here, just kind of wrapped it around. It's a cool look to the trailer itself, in my opinion. You can go straight across if you want. I mean, some customers will even put a rear ramp on these rear tack rooms if you want, so it's a ramp over. Those are options. We got a lot of different setups that we can do on these guys here. Like I mentioned, they're backing up. Here's the other thing. In these rear marker lights on this trailer, these tail lights here, they actually have a backup light built into them. We were doing a lot of backup lights on our inventory. The best way I can explain it is it was an individual light, so it'd be like right about there. Imagine taking like a flashlight and holding it right in one spot. Okay, it's really bright, really good as far as light itself. But that was kind of about all you could see. Cimarron came up with these with their vendor for lights, and they're actually built into all four. So when you throw it in reverse, now imagine taking that same flashlight and stepping back a few feet. Maybe it's not that as bright in that one location, but a lot more light coverage. So our backup lights on our truck are useless on this length of a trailer. That's fantastic having that in as an actual standard feature. These welded hinges with grease zerks on these guys, so easier to maintain, easier to operate. You know, you start getting a door that gets a little squeaky, you can actually force grease in here. There's that brass rod, you can see that right in the middle. That brass rod goes this full length of this welded hinge. Imagine a candy cane, that swirl, there's a groove cut into it. So when I put grease in there and open and close this door, it's gonna force it throughout that entire hinge. Or some manufacturers will do a welded hinge, you gotta heat it up. I've seen holes drilled into them where they're trying to force some type of lubricant in there, and that's where it gets a little bit tricky there. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk. We talked about the integrated pod itself. This is a good look here at the back. We got a lot going on up there. But this pod up top we're looking at, you know, you've got your generator box up there. There's an Onan 4K on this guy here, gas. But then we go into that actual pod itself. They've got that nice big V so you can step through it. That water tank is located up towards the front. And also we extended this pod 2 foot. We put a little bit extra on the front of it, giving you a lot more storage. That deck up there is fantastic because it gives you the ability to, if you're working on that generator, you're loading up feed bags, you know, any type of hay bag up there, throwing hay down or loading it, you've got that space up there. You're also gonna have this gate that goes across the back, and then your ladder is going to work as a little bit of a gate too when it's actually up in the you know, traveling position like it is. But I don't know if you noticed briefly there, it showed some airliner track on the deck itself. We put a strip alongside the generator and then one alongside that wall there. So if you wanted to throw something up there and strap it down, go to Amazon, buy you some airliner track hooks. A lot of different, you know, options you can buy there. You can buy like a 10-pack. But then you can set some items up there, bungee them down, ratchet strap them down, whatever you want to. We just said, hey, let's throw that up there. It gives you some more storage availability. You've got the big lights back here, so the pedestal lights, so we can manipulate how those point down. But again, ton of light there at the back of the trailer. And then you've got the easy angle ladder. So Jody and I, when we ran up there to get that little bit of footage, Jody went up and down by himself with the camera. Imagine trying to do that with a bolt on. You're not going to do it. So this makes this transition going up and down so nice, so easy. You can actually carry items in your hands going up and down. But it literally just sets on these feet, right into this paddle, latch itself, and then this guy locks. So everything's keyed alike. These rear tack doors, this guy here, all these feed doors, mangers, LQ, everything has one key to operate on this guy. Okay, over here on driver's side, here's going to be that fuel fill for that gas gen that I showed you. We showed you that actual fuel tank in the rear tack there. That's where you're going to fuel it up. Okay, you've got two 16-inch awning lights out here. So one right above the escape door, kind of one back here. Those shoot down and out, so you get a really good coverage as far as those lights themselves. And here's a good look at that escape door. You're going to notice that we went ahead and put the manger on this door itself. So you've got this guy here for some additional storage, but also have that ability to have that for your horses in there as well. So there's the manger storage there on the actual escape door. And then here's a good look at these drop down feed doors. Notice the big mass of the framework on these guys. This is all framework. This is something we're going to operate every time we use this trailer, more than likely. So having those big heavy duty drop windows is going to pay off over time, where others will, you know, have the potential to break or warp or anything like that. A lot of adjustments. These guys are nice, big, and stout. You've also got the jail bars that fold down. So if you need to offer some feed, anything like that, you can do that. The track's built in, so you just find your sweet spot and it sets right in. They've done a good job on how they actually tip back. So when you're opening them, it doesn't have that just right spot where it's wanting to come down on you either. So it wants to stay in that track itself. Now above each of these doors, even these feed doors, LQ door, you're going to notice a drip rail. So that's an extruded piece that's built by Cimarron. So they have an extrusion specifically for those pieces above their doors. So that's going to try to keep moisture away from the drop windows. Look, we're in Colorado, 300 days of sunshine, but we will get snow. Sun will come out, melt on these LQs, trailers. It'll come off the side. At night it freezes. So it's wanting to find those openings and try to get in those doors, freezing up those actual doors themselves, the weather stripping. So again, it's trying to keep all that away from it. And then we've got 3 bay doors for the storage itself on the mangers. So again, ton of storage on this. You're gonna notice we put hooks and then incorporated that gray rubber again here. You actually have lights in here as well. Same thing that I showed you in that rear tack by the shelving and medicine cabinet. You actually have a switch directly on this guy. So you'll just have to kind of pay attention to that. There is one other cool feature in the back here. If you look back there, there's a tube, and that's because there's a plug up top. So if we're cleaning out those mangers on the inside and we get water in there, well, where's it gonna go? Pull that plug, nose it up a little bit, and then that water will go right out the bottom of the trailer. There's actually one in the door too on that manger as well. And then you're gonna notice the extrusion. We did the extrusion on those manger doors to match, just like the rest of the trailer itself. As you work forward, here's our freshwater fill. Again, it's at the back of the bathroom there. City fill, here's that hydrant, here's our plug. And then I showed you that hamper behind the toilet. So I've got access to it right here. So you can throw dirty clothes in there, and then if you need to, you come out here, grab those dirty clothes, go do what you need to as far as washing them, but you've got great accessibility right here. The other cool thing is, I love this when I open this trailer up, but I can actually access the water pump. And when I talked to the shop, when the guys were going through it and looking at it, I said, man, you guys are gonna love this when it comes time to winterizing it or working on this water pump, anything like that. You can actually stand right outside. You know, normally you're kind of hunched over in the bathroom area or underneath the kitchen sink, and It's hard to get to it. Drain valves, water pump are located right there. So very easily accessible from that hamper. Extrusion on the slide, again, we ran it all the way up. So again, it just blends in with the rest of the trailer. But what a good look to the trailer itself and everything else on this, as far as how it's equipped. Now, I told you about the triple axle and how well they ride, but I did mention that when it comes to turning these triples, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. If you've ever pulled a triple axle trailer, you'll know when you get into situations where you got to crank that trailer around and you look in your mirror and you look at those wheels and tires, everything's going different directions. They're all fighting each other. It looks like a mess. Well, it puts so much stress on the axles, the hubs, the tires, the wheels, everything. That's the knock on triples. Well, here at Transwest, this is something we exclusively do. On these air ride trailers, we actually put an air dump on the front axle. So what we can do is we can dump the air in that front axle. It won't physically pick it up off the ground, but it shifts the weight to the back two axles, and that front axle just kind of skates. So I can turn this around like a tandem axle without putting that much stress on all those axles themselves. So how do you do it? Well, there's a light right up here that we go in and add. And the reason why it's located right there is because when I'm in the driver's seat, I can look in the rear view mirror, or my side mirror, and I can see that light right there. And all I do with a little key fob is hit on. It flashes, so it catches our eyes. And I can actually hear the air dump on that front axle back there. You want to give it a few seconds. It's not instantaneous. Air ride compressor just kicked on because it shifted the weight to those back two axles. So it's compensating where the leveling valve is. And the reason why the front axle is because we shove it to the back, it actually puts more weight on the truck for these instances. It gets more weight off those axles. So we're not having as much on it when we go to turn it. But once I do that, I can turn this trailer around, back it up like a tandem axle. And then when I'm done with it, I hit the off button, turns off our light. It's going to shift that air back to that first axle there. Again, that compressor might kick on off. That's normal because, again, it's compensating for that weight. But then again, I can hit it, weight goes back to it, and I can get to where I need to. Now, your fob you want to keep somewhere safe. Don't just throw it in your cup holder. You want it accessible, but you don't want it to get bumped. That's why we did the light down here and we did it to flash. Because what we don't want you to do is that air dump to be actually, on. You're running down the road 75, 80, high speed. You hit the brakes really hard, no resistance. You have the potential flat spot a tire in that instance there. So that's why we did these steps, in order for you to just make sure you're operating it correctly. But you want to talk about a game changer from the standpoint of being able to pull with the triple axle, air ride triple axle, turn like a tandem, have another axle, another set of brakes for you on this trailer to operate. What a great system. And again, that's something we do exclusively here. And even this brand new trailer we put on our alignment machine to make sure this guy's running true and straight down the road. We take a snapshot of when we put it on our machine, and then when we're done with our adjustments, and we keep that on file. I think I covered everything. I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm sure I might have missed a couple options here or there, or something cool. I didn't go as deep in detail as I should have, but that gives you the opportunity to come look at it in person at Stock Show and come visit with us. So I'm going to give you the stock number for reference. Get into 2025 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse living quarters, air ride, 16-foot Outlaw with slide, full width rear tack. You get the point. 5N240982. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade, downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available and delivery is an option. But we'd love to invite you to come to Stock Show to check this guy out. Check out all the rest of the Cimarrons. We're going to have factory reps from Ciamrron and Outlaw there with us, along with our great staff to help you out. So if you have any questions, give us a call. That number is 303-684-3400. Thanks for tuning in and have a good day.